Do you want people to ask you out for parties and events? Do you want guys to come to you for advice? Girls sending you the first message? Having female friends who now like you and appreciate you, and those female friends introduce to you their other attractive friends, which makes it even easier to find a girlfriend. So, in this video, I am going to tell you exactly how to make it happen. You must give value. Giving value is extremely important, because if you don't, you're just going to turn off absolutely everyone you meet. And this is a huge mindset shift, so pay attention. It's actually a very controversial topic, but if you are able to understand that, it will change everything about your vision of life and about what you're getting out of life. In terms of friendships, in terms of relationships, in terms of dating, in terms of finding a job, in terms of how much money you make, in terms of how people want to be around you, everything. This is super important. It's this idea that the more you give, the more you get in return. Now, here is why it's controversial. When you're not having much success in life, it's very difficult to understand that if you start giving more than the little bit you barely have, you will get more. When you come from a position of poverty, be it in terms of social relationships or money, it's very hard to understand that you will get more of it if you start giving what you already have. And that's why most people who are not really successful will rather believe that when they don't have much, they need to take to get more. The problem is that it's a very short-sighted vision of things. When you look at the bigger picture, actually it changes everything. Here we are playing with a psychology principle called the principle of reciprocity. It's this idea that when you give to people, most of the time, they will feel like they should give back to you. In real life, in practice, it doesn't happen in such obvious way. But let's say, for example, that you meet 10 people, you're going to give to all of them. 8 of them are going to ignore you, but 2 of them are going to appreciate what you gave them. 2 of them are going to find value in what you shared with them. 2 of them will then appreciate you. But even outside of dating, finding those win-win situations is super important. This is how you get a date. This is how you negotiate your salary. This is how you sell something to a client. This is a very important principle in sales. And so most people don't want to hear that, because as soon as you start shifting your mindset to understand the world from a win-win perspective, it leaves you with what the world actually is. And to most people, this is very uncomfortable to see. Because once you understand that everything is based on value, once you understand that everything is based on win-win, well, first you come to the realization that you are where you are right now because of the value that you have to offer. And if you're not in a great situation, it's most likely because you don't have value to offer. Go ahead and tell someone that they have zero value to offer, that they are worth nothing. People don't like that. Only once you open your eyes to the way the world really is, you can actually take actionable steps to improve your situation. And only once you understand that maybe right now you don't have much value to offer, or maybe even worse, you're actually taking value from people with your actions, only once you realize that, then you can work on it. Then you can start building things that you're then going to be able to share with people so that eventually you can share value. For example, a very, again, controversial example. Guys will tell you that you should not pay for what women take because you are actually being a simp. Okay, fair enough. I get that argument. Don't be a simp, don't pay for women's affection. But there comes a point when sharing a little bit of your income to make people around you happy is just sharing value. For example, if you organize a party and you pay the table at the club so that your friends can gather around you and have a great time, you're sharing value in a sense. And once you understand that, you also realize that people do what they do only when they see value in it. And again, this is a hard pill to swallow, because this is when maybe you will realize that your friends are actually your friends right now only because they get something out of you. And maybe you will not like the fact that they stay with you only because they get that one thing from you. For example, if you realize that your friends are your friends only because of your position at work or in society, or the fact that you pay stuff for them, and that they never were friends with you because of your personality, that might be hurtful to you. And so that's why it's a little bit difficult of a mindset shift. It's not agreeable. It doesn't feel good to open your eyes to this concept of value. Now, the thing with value is that it's objective and it's situational. For example, if you go up to the club tomorrow and you start having fun with a bunch of people, maybe in this environment at this time, those people will find value in you because they wanted fun. They wanted to share a good time. You meet those people again in a different environment, maybe the value that they want at the time is different. Now, it's interesting to keep in mind that there are things that most people usually find value in. For example, most people love to talk about themselves. For example, most people love free stuff. For example, most people love love good vibes and humor and jokes. And so this is why it's more of an advanced level, because once you understand that value is objective and situational, you can start thinking about how different people in different environments will react better to different kinds of value. And this is why, for example, you don't approach a girl in a club the same way you approach a girl at work, or the same way you approach a girl who is walking on the street. And so to figure out what people really want, you have to ask questions, you have to make educated guesses, and also you have to take a shit ton of action to get reference experiences of what works and what doesn't. A very concrete example, last week I went out with some friends of mine who are models. And how is it that I have friends who are models? Well, I give them what they want. I help them to take photos for their photo shoots. So then they get nice photos to put on their Instagrams and they get more fans. In the end, I understand it's far away from the conception of people are going to be your friends if you're nice to them. But this is the level 1. This is what your parents tell you when you grow up, so people don't start hating on you without you understanding why. Yes, of course, it's better to be nice. But then if you really want to understand social dynamics, you have to keep in mind that people do what they do when they find value in it. Now, of course, we're getting to the main problem with this. Some people, they are just leeches. Some people will just talk to you because they can get something out of you. Some people will hang around you and will quote-unquote be your friends because you give value to them. But some people will be around you taking your value and never give back anything to you. Those people are the snakes. Those people are the leeches. Those people are the people that you have to look out for. Those people are the people who are going to waste your time and break your heart. But then again, this is something that you can't pay attention to if you don't understand this concept of value. In practice, this is what it means to become a high value man. This is building something for yourself and then being able to share value with other people. Of course, if you have nothing to share, you can hardly call yourself a high value man. But as soon as you start having things to share, you will notice that people come at you just to take what you have to share. It can be anything. It can be gym advice because you're very fit. It can be hanging around with you because every time you go to the club, well, you introduce everyone to the VIPs, you introduce everyone to the DJ and to the owners. It can be anything. And most people think it's money, but it's not money. Money is just a form of value because it's easy to change it into something else. For example, a sugar daddy who pays for his sugar baby is only using money as leverage because otherwise he will not have access to this girl, or he wouldn't make her happy enough with what he has to offer. Money there is just to compensate for the fact that he doesn't have what she truly wants. He doesn't have the value she actually wants. Basically, this is why high value people hate to hang out with low value people. This is why superstars do not hang out with common people, because low value people do not understand this concept of win-win. Low value people do not understand this concept of sharing value. Low value people will just try to take as much as they can before they peace out. And so I understand it sounds a little bit superficial. I don't really enjoy making those videos, but I really feel this is a concept that nobody talks about and that more people should be aware of. I think we can use a little bit of cynicism sometimes. So make sure you're not a low value person. Make sure you're giving value. Make sure you're always looking for win-win situations. If you want people to text you back, it's very simple. Give them what they want. If you don't know what they want, it's very simple. Talk to them, go and ask them. And if you don't have what they want, again, it's very simple. You go and you build it. If you're too needy and you creep off women when you talk to them, it's very simple. Practice making conversation so then you can give them good vibes. If cool guys you meet never want to hang out with you again, start giving them value. And honestly, the bar is not even that high. For most people to be willing to hang out with you, the only thing that you have to do is to make a pleasant conversation when you're with them. I promise you that when you meet people, if you finally stop asking them for things all the time and instead you focus on what you can share, finally your social circle is going to explode.